What if you could sit down and eat a meal from 200 years ago? Not in a museum, not in a history book, but on your own plate. What would it taste like? Would it feel familiar, or completely different? Because today, we're doing something most people never try. We're recreating a 200-year-old meal. And along the way, you'll discover that this isn't just about food, it's about history, survival, and the stories hidden in every bite. Let's set the scene. We're going back roughly 200 years, to the early 1800s. No modern kitchens, no refrigerators, no packaged ingredients. Everything had to be grown, raised, or gathered. Meals weren't planned for convenience. They were built around what was available, what could last, and what people could afford. So what would a typical meal look like? It depended heavily on who you were and where you lived. Wealthy households had access to more variety, fresh meats, baked breads, seasonal vegetables, and imported goods like sugar or spices. But for many others, especially working-class families or enslaved communities, meals were simpler, built from basic ingredients and whatever could be stretched the furthest. For this recreation, we're focusing on a humble, realistic meal, something closer to what an average person might have eaten. A combination of cornbread, stewed greens, and a small portion of meat. Let's start with the cornbread. This isn't the fluffy, sweet cornbread many people know today. Early cornbread was much simpler, just cornmeal, water, and sometimes a bit of fat. No baking powder, no sugar. The texture is denser, the flavor more earthy. It's cooked in a cast iron pan or even over an open flame. It's basic, but it's filling, and that's what mattered. Next, the greens. Leafy greens like collards or turnips were common because they were easy to grow and packed with nutrients. They were usually slow cooked for a long time, often with whatever flavoring was available. Maybe a small piece of salted meat, maybe just water and thyme. The result is soft, deeply flavored greens with a rich broth that nothing goes to waste from. Now, the meat. For many people, meat wasn't the main focus of the meal, it was a small addition. It might be salted pork or another preserved cut, used more for flavor than portion size. Preservation was key back then. Without refrigeration, meat had to be salted, smoked, or dried to last. As this meal comes together, something becomes clear: it's simple. There's no extra, no unnecessary ingredients. Every part of the meal serves a purpose. It's built for nourishment, not presentation. But here's where it gets interesting. When you actually taste a meal like this, it feels different. Not just because of the ingredients, but because of what it represents. There's a certain honesty to it. No shortcuts, no artificial flavors, no convenience. Just food, prepared the way it had to be. And you start to notice things. The texture of the cornbread, heavier, more grounding. The depth of the greens, built slowly over time. The saltiness of the meat, strong, but balanced across the dish. It's not flashy, but it's satisfying in a way that's hard to explain. It also makes you think about effort. Every part of this meal took time. Growing the corn, grinding it into meal, harvesting the greens, preserving the meat, cooking everything over fire. What feels simple today actually required hours, sometimes days, of work. And that changes how you see it. Because this isn't just a meal, it's a reflection of daily life 200 years ago. It shows what people had access to, what they valued, and how they adapted to their environment. It tells a story without saying a word. It also highlights inequality, because while some people ate meals with more variety and comfort, others had to rely on whatever they could get. The same basic ingredients could look very different depending on circumstances. And that's part of the history too. But across all versions of this meal, one thing stays the same: resourcefulness. People made the most of what they had. They turned simple ingredients into something that could sustain them. They created meals that worked, even when options were limited. And in many ways, those traditions still exist today. Modern versions of cornbread, greens, and preserved meats still carry traces of these early methods. The techniques have evolved, the flavors have expanded, but the roots are still there. Recreating a meal like this isn't just about curiosity, it's about connection. It connects us to a time before convenience, to people who lived differently, worked differently, and ate differently. It reminds us that food has always been tied to environment, economy, and culture. And maybe it also makes us appreciate things a little more. Because when you realize how much effort went into a single meal, it changes how you look at the food in front of you today. So what did we learn from recreating a 200-year-old meal? That simple doesn't mean meaningless. That food carries history, and that even the most basic dishes can tell powerful stories. So the next time you sit down to eat, think about this. What story is your meal telling? If you enjoyed this journey back in time, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because there's so much more history hidden in everyday things. And tell me in the comments, would you try a meal like this, or do you think modern food has spoiled us? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.